Melanie Joly's day is about to get a lot worse. If you saw my last video, you can see that Melanie Joly was getting absolutely hammered by pierrepoilievre, and now Ned Keurig and Raquel Doncho are about to have their turn as well. So we'll start with Ned Keurig here, and he says the Liberals knew Algoma was going to lay off 1,000 steel and manufacturing workers and still gave them a $400 million corporate bailout. Liberal Minister Melanie Joly didn't answer my question, didn't read the Stellantis contract, and didn't guarantee Canadian jobs before handing out millions in corporate welfare. Let's see what Ned has to say in Melanie Joly's response, and we'll talk about it. Now, before we do get into it, please don't forget to like and subscribe. It really does help grow the channel. I appreciate you guys so much for doing that. So let's have a look, and then we'll talk about it.
Yesterday, we found out that the Liberals knew Algoma was planning to lay off 1,000 steel workers before giving the company $400 million. I guess the Prime Minister was speaking the truth. He really doesn't care about protecting Canadian jobs. You know who does care? Conservatives care. And so do the thousands of Hamilton steel and manufacturing workers who go to bed every night wondering if they're going to have a job in the morning. Why is it with these Liberals there's always a guarantee for corporate welfare, but zero guarantees for the Canadian worker?
L'honorable ministre de l'Industrie.
When my colleague is talking about corporate welfare, what I'm saying to him is actually that workers are worth every dime, and particularly Algoma ones in light of the American unjustified tariffs. Right. And that is exactly why we decided, along with the Conservatives in Ontario, actually with Doug Ford's government, to support the company as it was facing existential threat. The company was not going well. We knew we needed to help. We decided to make the investments, and meanwhile, we know that the future can be brighter because we're working on two things: a steel plant, a beam mill, and a plate mill for defense and infrastructure.
Yeah, good non-answer, Melanie. And I do apologize. This was actually from yesterday. Either way, she's not having a good week. Ever since the Stellantis announced that they were leaving and that 1,000 people were going to lose their jobs, you could tell she's just in panic mode, stuttering all the time. I know I stutter a little bit too, but she usually doesn't. And when they stutter and they start to go, oh, sorry, I don't know what I'm talking about, that's when you know they're in trouble. And you see all the liberal bots on Twitter the last couple of days just really trying to go, no, markcarney's the one that's owning pierrepoilievre. It's pierrepoilievre who's getting owned, guys. Please believe me. No one believes you. So Raquel Doncho now comes out and she says the Liberals stood on the shop floor of Algoma Steel and promised to protect those jobs. Mere months and a $400 million taxpayer-backed loan later, Algoma is laying off 1,000 workers. When will the Liberals actually deliver on their promises? Or are their announcements and photo ops enough for them? Yeah, just like Justin.
Mr. Speaker, yesterday Algoma Steel laid off 1,000 workers, and those workers remember when the Liberal Prime Minister stood on their shop floor in Sault Ste. Marie just days before the last election and promised to protect their jobs. But today, those same workers face U.S. tariffs, no deal, and now no job. And to add insult to injury, this Liberal government just gave Algoma Steel $400 million with no jobs guarantees, apparently, because now there's 1,000 Canadian workers out of a job before Christmas. So when will the steel workers get the promised protection for their jobs from this Liberal government?
The Honourable Minister of Industry.
Of course, our thoughts are with the workers at Algoma Steel. I've been in contact with the company. I've been also...
Thoughts don't put food on the table. Thoughts don't deposit money into their bank account so they can buy that food and pay their rent, Melanie. Good Lord. Her and Elizabeth May must just party every night.
So in contact with the union, and obviously we know that the entire business sector of the entire business model of the steel sector in Canada is based on U.S. automakers, and obviously with unjustified and unjustifiable tariffs of 50% by the U.S. administration against our steel sectors, this can't happen. So we've been working with the company, offering $400 million to get through these difficult times as they're pivoting with new products and new markets, Mr. Speaker.
Get a deal done. Melanie, you might want to tell this, say what you just said to your boss, markcarney. These unjust tariffs, and that's right, they've even been raised since markcarney became prime minister because Trump knows he could bully this guy around. He knows Trump knows markcarney's not going to be tough with him, and Trump was right because markcarney has been the exact opposite of tough.
The honourable member for Kildonan St. Paul.
Mr. Speaker, the Liberals promised to protect Canadian jobs, and yet the reality is thousands of Canadian families are now going without their primary source of income because the Liberals haven't delivered on their promises. Softwood lumber mills are closing, auto companies are cancelling projects in Canada and moving them to the United States, and in Sault Ste. Marie, now 1,000 people have just lost their jobs at the steel mill. So workers don't need more Liberal platitudes or corporate handouts or broken promises. They need their jobs back. They need results. So when are Canadians going to get the trade deal we were promised?
Good question.
The Honourable Minister of Industry.
Mr. Speaker, newsflash, we're in a trade war. And so therefore, because of
Oh
what is
my
happening
God.
right now, we're fighting for the jobs at Algoma Steel and across the steel sector in the country. And that is why we've been there for the...
Like, we're in a trade war, guys. Newsflash. Oh, we know. You keep bringing it up every time you fail. Every time the Liberals fail, they bring up the trade war as if it's purely Donald Trump's fault. That's right, guys. Everything that's happened that's bad is Donald Trump's fault. It's not the guy who is in charge of this country who said that he was the best guy to deal with Donald Trump and negotiate a deal. And all he's done is when he sees him, he glazes over him and kisses his ass. And then when he's away from him, he pisses Trump off. So what is Mark Carney actually doing? Pisses Trump off when he's not around. Then as soon as Mark Carney shows up to the White House, oh, hello, Mr. President. I wore red for you. Give me a break. Newsflash, Melanie. You're terrible at your job, and so is Mark Carney.
Okay. The member, the minister may continue.
Mr. Speaker, is it from the top? From the top or not? Okay, so Mr. Speaker, my point is that we'll continue to fight for these jobs, and the company was clear today. If it wasn't for the $400 million and the $100 million by Ontario, the very existence of Algoma Steel would have been in jeopardy, Mr. Speaker.
That's right. Liberal Doug Ford decided to help Liberal Melanie Joly and Mark Carney. They keep bringing up Doug Ford in this, by the way. Have you noticed that? Oh, the Ontario doesn't have a conservative party. It has two Liberal parties, an NDP party and a Green party. And then there's I think it's like the New Blue Party, but they're a very small group right now. Hopefully they are actually conservative and grow their party. But either way, I mean, this whole, well, Doug Ford knows that. Yeah, Doug Ford's a Liberal. How many sleepovers have Mark Carney and Doug Ford had, by the way? Like, you're supposed to be the opposition if you're a conservative. Not just glaze over everything that Mark Carney does, but hey, that's what friends do. That's why a lot of people don't like Doug Ford. That's why you have extremely low voter turnout in Ontario. That's why Doug Ford keeps winning. And then people say, well, if you don't vote, you can't complain. Oh, who am I going to vote for? That's got a chance to win. Marriott Stiles? Yeah, I'm going to vote for an NDP or Liberal leader. Yeah, that's right. There's no option for an actual conservative in Ontario. There is, though, federally. And people say, well, Pierre is conservative light. I mean, yeah, he's certainly not on the far right, like liberals like to say he is. Sorry there, I had a hiccup. But, I mean, he's certainly not as liberal as Doug Ford is. He's the only option we have federally right now, and he's the only guy who would actually be tough on Trump. You know why? Because his job for the last 3 years was to be tough on the government. He's actually got a record of being tough on the government. Look at the mess he made out of Justin Trudeau. And they think that Pierre's soft, but they're going to send old Mr. Burns. Yep, he's going to get the deal done. 4 months late.